Board members, do I have a motion to reconvene in open session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The board is now in open session. Madam Clerk, would you please read the resolution certifying the closed session?
Now therefore be it resolved that the school board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters.
Aye.
Stephen Pronto.
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the first personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/57-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters.
Aye.
Stephen Pronto.
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/58-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters.
Aye.
Stephen Pronto.
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/59-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters.
Aye.
Stephen Pronto.
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the March 12, 2024 School Board Business Meeting to order. Before we begin the meeting this evening, I'd like to thank everyone for attending and remind the audience that comments to this board may be made only at the podium during the public comment period. Comments from the audience are prohibited and are in violation of sections 18.2-415 of the Code of Virginia, Disorderly Conduct in Public Places, and School Board Policy 6141. I appreciate everyone's patience and understanding so that we can conduct the business meeting in an orderly fashion. We'll now have an invocation by Mr. Paranto, followed by the flag salute led by Mrs. Coker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Heavenly Father, we are humbled tonight as we are reminded of the great responsibility that rests on our shoulders. I ask your blessing upon this board and ask that you give each one wisdom and humility to ask for direction in their decisions. Surround us with your love so we can be confident moving forward. We know that none of us is perfect and that we all make mistakes, but we ask for patience and understanding as we work to keep our school system great. This I ask in the name of the Father who made us, the Son who sacrificially loves us, and the Spirit who guides us. Amen.
Please join us at this time for the Pledge of Allegiance.
This evening's consent agenda includes the agenda adoption, approval of the minutes from February 13, 2024 budget work session, February 13, 2024 business meeting, February 22, 24 special meeting, Memo 2624 recommended personnel actions, Memo 2724 FY24 acceptance of new grants, Resolution recognizing March 2024 as Equity in Education Month, Memo 2824 VSBA Business Honor Roll, Memo 2924 approval of the additional CCPS Mathematics Pathway, Memo 3024 FY24 transfer of budget from federal to state revenue source, Memo number 3124 school calendar change, Memo 3224, Alternative Accreditation Plan for Carver College and Career Academy. Memo 3324, appointment of members to school board advisory committees. Are there any additions or corrections to the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, there are no additions or corrections to the consent agenda.
Are there any requests from a school board member to separate an item from the consent agenda for discussion and individual action? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters.
Aye.
Stephen Pronto.
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. Next, we have awards and recognitions. For our first awards and recognitions, I would like to call up Dr. Yo and Mr. Hurd to present.
Good evening, Madam Chair Heffron and members of the board. My name is Jimmy Hurd, and I am the Visual Arts Curriculum Specialist here in Chesterfield County Public Schools. And I'm joined here tonight by Dr. Robin Yo, our Performing Arts Curriculum Specialist here in Chesterfield. We'd like to begin by thanking you for your continued support of our thriving fine arts programs across CCPS. In tonight's School Board Awards and Recognitions segment, we wanted to take a moment to recognize just how proud we are of all of our art students for the outstanding work done by them in bringing the arts to our community. Before several students come up who will represent just a sample of our performing and visual arts programs in CCPS, of which we are so appreciative of, we want to share with you a quick overview of the numerous ways that you can also be inspired by our student artists during Music in Our Schools Month and Youth Art Month, as well as other times during the year. Our K-12 visual art programs across CCPS provide students with a unique blend of critical thinking, problem solving, innovation, perseverance, discovery, and countless other opportunities. For many students, this helps open the doorway to future careers and serves as a space for emotional growth. Throughout Youth Art Month, the entire community can see this on display during our second annual division-wide CCPS Arts Fest. Arts Fest offers all of our residents the gift of student art within 12 different locations across our entire county. Now, in its third week already, the entire community can actively view art exhibitions from each one of our 41 elementary schools on display in every Chesterfield Public Library branch, all 10, as well as the Perkinson Center for the Arts and Education. The culmination of Arts Fest will soon take place on March 23rd and 24th during the Secondary Fine Arts Showcase at Cosby High School, which will feature art exhibitions from all of our middle and high schools.
Additionally, at the March 23rd and 24th Secondary Art Showcase, numerous performing arts student groups will be engaged as they showcase their talents to the community. We would also direct you to student work from both our virtual art and music programs, which is currently posted this month in a special online gallery on our main website. At the same time, if you have been fortunate enough to attend a student performance anytime this year, I believe you would agree with me that you can truly see how our performing arts students fully embrace our Music in Our Schools Month theme, I See Me in Music Education. By year's end, we will provide over 300 performances in our schools. In every case, the student and staff passion for their art is inspiring. Whether at all-county marching band night, a wide range of school chorus and orchestra events, or smaller scale performances such as an all-state ensemble or a one-act play competition, every audience walks away amazed with what these students have to offer. We do hope to see you on March 23rd and 24th to hear performances by the All-County Middle School Bands, All-County Jazz Bands, and the Specialty Center for the Arts students.
Thank you, Dr. Yo. At this time, I would like to bring forward several students with their teachers to share their thoughts on what the arts mean to them. Please welcome Vanessa Vindakumar from Clover Hill Elementary School to read her essay, What the Arts Mean to Me.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Vinod Kumar, and I'm from Clover Hill Elementary School. And I can't wait to show you what art means to me. Art is a term that can be used for many things, like dancing, music, drawings, and photos, too. Art to me means drawings and pictures that are just beautiful. Art can be made in music and dancing, too. What makes art so special to me is that it can really be anything in any shape or form. Art barely has any limits, and that's one of the reasons I love it so much. Art to me is more than some silly old drawing. I like to stare at drawings and paintings just to figure out their true meaning. Their true meaning could be anything from a turtle sitting on a stone to a beautiful scene from a play. Art can be many things. Art is everywhere, anything, and everything can be art. Art can mean different things to different people. To some people, art is a life commitment. To others, it's just a little hobby. But to me, it's something that I can use to change the world. I can also use it to bring peace to the world, share love with the world, and sometimes to explain things to the world. Art can be a job or hobby. That's what I love about it, and there's no correct way to make art. Art is something everybody can make, no matter how much skill you have. It has only one limit, and that limit is your imagination. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, as well as your art teacher, Ms. Crystal French from Clover Hill Elementary School. Please welcome Shamir Tariq from Elizabeth Davis Middle School to read his essay, What the Arts Mean to Me.
The arts hold a special place in my heart, as they allow me to express myself in ways words cannot. Through painting, drawing, and crafting, I limit the color on my canvas. I tell a story that is uniquely mine, allowing me to explore my inner world and share it with others. Beyond self-expression, the arts have broadened my perspective and enriched myself in countless ways, whether I am listening to music, watching a dance performance, or attending the theater production. I am transported to different worlds and exposed to different cultures and ideas. This exposure has helped me develop empathy and understanding and appreciation for the beauty and complexity of the human experience. In essence, the arts are not just a form of entertainment or a hobby for me. They are a lifeline that brings joy, meaning, and inspiration to my life. They have taught me the power of creativity and the importance of imagination and the value of connecting with others through shared experiences. The arts are not just what I do, they are who I am, nurturing my soul and remaining the beauty that still exists in the world. Thank you for reading.
Thank you so much, Shamir, as well as your art teacher, Lydia Walters from Elizabeth Davis Middle School. Please welcome Elise Armentrout from Clover Hill High School to read her essay, What the Arts Mean to Me.
Good evening. The arts had always been something that had inspired me growing up. It gave me a sense of belonging and freedom that no other thing gave me. When I would be in my art classes, I would realize it was where I was meant to be. The arts are what inspired me to go down the pathway of photography. It lets me express myself through the images I create, while no other course makes me feel the same way. Different kinds of art can interest many people in ways they would not feel when doing other things. I believe that there is at least one thing about the arts that can bring someone happiness. Additionally, I'm so glad that I was able to find mine. I may not have been able to see it at first, but over time, it became more visible how much the arts mean to me. To me, the arts have always been a big part of my life. Every year, I would take an art class like crafts or photography. Those classes would always make me feel like they were my home. I felt comfortable and relaxed because I could let my creativity run freely. I'm incredibly grateful that I was allowed to appreciate art and what it can do to one's heart. Remarkably, finding the right field of art for a person can turn their life upside down. The different kinds of art let me discover what I wanted to do with the rest of my life and what makes me happy. Everyone should be able to have the opportunity to discover their belonging, whether or not it is in the arts or something meaningful to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. I feel very inspired. At this time, as the Cosby High School Chamber Ensemble, under the direction of Ms. Heather Andre, comes forward to perform, I'd like to thank these talented students and their teacher for helping us experience a sample of what our celebration of Music in Our Schools Month is all about. Board, I would like to invite you down to the front row so that you can enjoy the performance.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly sleeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. The vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the soul. And in the naked light I saw, and in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share, and no one dared disturb the sound, disturb the silence.
Thank you so much. We're traveling to New York tomorrow morning to perform that at the 9/11 Memorial. Thank you so much.
Thank you again to all of our Chesterfield County students and staff here tonight. And thank you to all those across our schools who work so hard to share their talents in the arts as a gift that helps lift our entire community.
Clearly, we're not as well coordinated and choreographed as our students. Madam Clerk, would you read the resolution?
Recognizing March 2024 as Music in Our Schools Month, whereas the study of music helps young people improve their skill in listening, reading, self-expression, and creativity, and whereas music education in the school includes a broad range of music and active musical experiences, and whereas music and the other arts significantly enhance the morale and quality of the school environment, and whereas public schools prepare children for a productive role in society, and whereas the National Association for Music Education has designated March as Music in Our Schools Month. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Chesterfield County School Board endorses the observance of Music in Our Schools Month as an opportunity to support the purpose and practices of music education and encourages teachers, parents, students, and all citizens to participate. The Chesterfield County School Board rededicates itself to the maintenance of music education program that positively influences each child placed in its care. Now we have recognizing March 2024 as Youth Art Month, whereas art education contributes powerful educational benefits to all elementary and secondary students, including the following: Art education develops critical and creative problem-solving skills. Art education teaches design thinking and reinforces the concept of craftsmanship. Art education teaches sensitivity to beauty, order, and other expressive qualities. Art education gives students a deeper understanding of cultures, values, and beliefs. Art education reinforces and brings to life what students learn in other subjects. And art education uses student learning in art production, art history, art criticism, and aesthetics to create new meaning and learning for each student. And whereas our national leaders have acknowledged the necessity of including art experiences in each student's education. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Chesterfield County School Board officially recognize March as Youth Art Month, endorse the observance of Youth Art Month, and encourage the support of quality school art programs for our children and youth.
Mr. Hurd, Dr. Yo, thank you so much for your championing of arts and music in our schools. I heard something about how the opposite of belonging is fitting in. And when we fit in, we have to change ourselves to fit that box. And I think our high school student who wrote about what art means, she used belonging. It's a place where our students can just be who they are and celebrated for that. And it's such a special and important quality for our students to have that connection to our schools. And have that place for them. And thank you so much for I know you all work so hard, and all your departments work so hard. All of our music teachers, and our art teachers, and our theater teachers, and all of this in an effort just to make our school experience the best it can be for all of our students. Would you like to say a few words? No, yes. Sure.
I just want to say thank you again. You just saw a sampling of what we get to see every day when we visit schools and we talk with teachers. The arts are transformative, they really are. And they help our students become more well-rounded and have a sense of belonging. So thank you so much for everything you all do.
And I'd also like to say thank you, because I usually start any all-district or all-county event with, "Hi, I'm Robin Yo. I have the best job in the world." So again, thank you for all of your support.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Board members, you have heard the two resolutions before us. May I have a motion to adopt the resolutions as read?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I was going to say. Board members, is there any discussion? Oh, Ms. Coker?
We both chimed in at the same time. Other than wow, that performance gave me goosebumps. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it's fabulous to see our students perform in any area, whether it's through theater, through chorus, through the arts that the visual arts that they create. Having a child that is aspiring in the visual arts area as well, it is amazing to see them bloom, to see their creativity flourish, and I'm just so proud of all of the work that our departments do, that our teachers do, and what our students showcase is all of that hard work. So thank you.
Ms. Chatters?
I just wanted to say thank you to the 3 students that read their I See Music, and those were beautiful, like beautifully read, beautifully well done. I could see it on their faces and their hearts that is where they belong. And I'm glad we found a place that Chesterfield's offering our students a place where they do feel belong. Thank you.
Mr. Pronto?
Thank you. absolutely echo Ms. Chatter's comments there for our students who read what art means to them. Very moving, and even more so representing the Matoaca District, which is where Cosby is located. I was proud to, always proud to represent Matoaca, but even more so tonight, hearing the talent that was presented for the board and for everyone watching tonight. And they are heading up to New York tomorrow. So I think that it's such a compliment with the solemn moment of being at Ground Zero, accompanied by their music. I wish I was up there to hear that again. So many congratulations to them.
Ms. Hutchins?
So I'm just going to echo what they've said and what y'all are probably feeling, but I'll say it for you. Wow, and it took my breath away. And we all a little bit are discombobulated, I think, because it just allowed us to feel in such a space where we're not normally allowing our defenses to go down. I literally almost burst into tears, and I don't cry. That was stunning, and I love that song. I was blown away. That's all I have. I was just blown away.
And everything you said, and more. I think I still have goosebumps. And every year, it's such a treat to have that amazing talent from Cosby just showcased. It's fantastic. Board members, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Both resolutions are adopted. And thank you again to all of our performers and Mr. Hurd and Dr. Yo. Thank you so much for your coordination of this event and for all that you do for our students. Mr. Smith?
If I could ask Heather Russell to come forward at this time, please. Heather Russell, who teaches fourth grade at Betty Weaver Elementary, was named the 2023 Teacher of the Year by the Virginia Society for Technology and Education. Citing her work to create a STEM culture, the group recognized her for developing programs and resources that help students and families use technology in innovative and creative ways, and for her dedication to always seeking new ways to blend technology into science, social studies, and math instruction. Please join me in congratulating Heather Russell.
Congratulations. This is, we were supposed to give it to you last month, and I was all prepared, and I was just so amazed, and I looked it up, and this is a Virginia, this is a big award. Do you mind telling us a little bit, like, what did you do to get this award? Do you know, like, what do you do in the classroom that is so technology focused, or is that, should I not ask you? Yeah. Come on, let's go.
So my classroom is the light bulb classroom, and then all the kids are like, why is your room the light bulb classroom? And it's because I live for the sparks, the moments where those kids get so excited when I bring robots out for the first time, or when I bring out a STEAM challenge and like the questions and the excitement and the wonder. And those are the moments I live for. So this award is truly my kids inspiring me. And every day I cannot wait to go to school because they breathe new life into me, and I get challenged with them, and I just love what I do. So we do technology-wise, we do robotics, we do coding, we do flip grids, we do green screens, we do all kinds of stuff that incorporates their Chromebooks, and then just fun things that they can do at home as well.
That's incredible. Congratulations. We're really proud. Thank you.
If I could ask Vivian to come forward this time. Yes, ma'am. The top bilingual teacher in the United States teaches at Elizabeth Scott Elementary. Vivian Rivera Masonette was selected as the 2024 Bilingual Teacher of the Year by the National Association for Bilingual Education. She is the fourth grade Spanish dual language immersion teacher at Elizabeth Scott Elementary, the only Chesterfield County elementary school to offer Spanish dual language immersion. This is not the first big award for Vivian. Just 2 years ago, she was selected as the Teacher of the Year for Chesterfield County Public Schools. Please join me in congratulating Vivian.
So I just want to repeat that again. The National Bilingual Teacher of the Year, national. And she's here in Chesterfield County. So we're so proud of you, Vivian. You are an amazing teacher, person, friend. Seeing her in the classroom is just absolutely amazing. I am very proud of you and proud to be able to give you this small token of our appreciation. She also got recognized at the state capitol, both in the House and the Senate, this past week. So we are incredibly proud of you. And I also want to recognize Elizabeth Scott Elementary School administrators, the principal, Julie Buntage, and the assistant principal, Lindsay Kistner. They are also amazing folks and do fabulous things for Elizabeth Scott and started this DLI program at Elizabeth Scott. So hopefully we can replicate this elsewhere. But very, very proud of you. Now, can you describe to us, what is a day like in a dual language immersion program?
Well, I can say it's loud. I can say that it is a great opportunity. As a bilingual student, I struggled. Arriving at the island and not knowing Spanish. When I was in the States, at home, Spanish was spoken, but I was speaking in English outside, so it was hard. It was hard, but being a part of a program like this that offers our native English speakers the opportunity to learn a second language that surrounds us, because Spanish surrounds us, and our Spanish speakers to acquire this English simultaneously is magical. I really do invite you all to come see it. Be there and see it, because it is magic. They are thinking in one language, but they are bilingual, and that's the power that we are giving them. I only wish that more schools would have this, because I have a grandson who is not at Elizabeth Scott, and he can lose his Spanish. So I really, really would like that all of us take this upon us and make more schools, give these programs to more schools, and empower our future with bilingualism. Thank you.
If I could ask our REB award-winning principals to come forward at this time. Julie. The REB Awards for Distinguished Educational Leadership honor Central Virginia principals who go beyond day-to-day demands to create an exceptional educational environment. One principal from each local school system, Chesterfield, Henrico, Hanover, and Richmond, is honored annually, and each winner receives a $10,000 grant for individual use and an additional $20,000 for school projects. The Community Foundation for the Greater Richmond and the REB Foundation oversee the awards. Nominations come from members of the school community and the general public. Chesterfield County Public School principals nominated this year are David Altizer of Manchester Middle, Dr. Elizabeth Baber of Matoka High School, Julie Buntich of Elizabeth Scott Elementary, Dr. Sharon Rucker of Providence Elementary, Dr. Randy Smith of Ettrick Elementary, and Debbie Weatherford of Watkins Elementary.
I forgot, we've got one more. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Absolutely, thank you. Hold on one second. I need an assistant for this one. It is a pleasure to present each of you with a certificate for this outstanding recognition of your principal leadership from your school community. So congratulations. As Sean Smith had noted, the Greater Richmond Community Foundation selects one of the nominees from the school division to be designated for the REB Award for Distinguished Educational Leadership. The recognition comes with a $10,000 grant for the recipient, along with a $20,000 grant for your school, which is to be applied toward your project proposal to support your school community. Tonight, it gives me a great pleasure to announce that the recipient of the REB Award for Chesterfield County Public Schools is Dr. Randy Smith, the principal at Ettrick Elementary School. Congratulations, Dr. Smith, and please, if you don't mind, we would like to know, and would you please share with us the project that you hope to focus on to positively impact your school with this award?
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you very much. This is just an honor to be with these leaders and the teachers and the students who came before this. What an amazing county we're privileged to be in. At Ettrick, our project is going to focus on our community and our students and trying to get students who have barriers and the barriers are preventing them from coming to school. We're going to break down those barriers and put things in our school like a boutique. We're partnering with a barber and beauty school that's going to donate hours so that we'll have a boutique set up to do braiding, hair blowouts, and the cuts for the young men. We'll have a laundry service available so that they can get their clothes washed and cleaned during the day and sent home with them. A food pantry set up as well. And we're partnering with Project Appleseed to build community engagement and partnership with our community members. So it's going to go a long ways, and we're excited to start.
Well, again, congratulations, and congratulations to all the nominees here this evening, and thank you for leading your schools in the manner in which you do. It is a great accreditation to not only yourself, but Chesterfield County Public Schools. So thank you.
Dr. Fry?
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and Mr. Roberts. It's a pleasure to be here this evening and present to you our Drivers of the Month. There are many bus drivers who could be recognized this month, but each transportation area manager had to make the tough decision of selecting a single bus driver who exemplified excellence and dedication to represent their area. We'd like to recognize and honor the following drivers. Ernest Duncan, Area 1, Bus 646, 2 years of service. Ernest says that he became a bus driver because most of his family were bus drivers, and he really enjoys driving for the bus for CCPS. His favorite part is meeting different people and convincing them that school is a very important part of their life. Eric Sorensen, Area 2, Bus 208, 1 year of service. Eric says he thinks kids are cool, and he loves the artwork they give him. Nicole Winningham, Area 3, Bus 258, 2 years of service. Nicole says the best part of being a bus driver is making a difference in the children's lives. Christina Austin, Area 4, Bus 223, 2 years of service. She's unable to join us tonight, so her manager Jen Davis from Area 4 is accepting the award for her. Christina says that her EMS background has instilled in her the importance of safety, which is essential when transporting our precious cargo, our students. She also says the schedule rocks. Josh Simmons, Area 5, Bus 600, 6 years of service. Josh says he loves being a school bus driver. The kids are full of joy, and that really warms his heart and makes him feel excited to show up and do his best every day.
Wow. Congratulations. You guys do what probably not a lot of us, I'd be afraid because I would get sidetracked and it wouldn't be good. So I'm so glad that it's you all every single day. And I see your sweet smiles and I see that you all, those kids walk on that bus and they know that they are welcomed. You are the first person they see in the morning that represents school. And it matters to them. You can set the tone for their day. And the fact that you're up here, I know that you do that positively. And I don't know if y'all have kids. I have kids who've ridden the bus for many, many years. And man, the bus driver can set it, and then you say goodbye. And there's such a bond that the bus driver has. It's unbelievable. So we appreciate you all. We appreciate what you do. It matters greatly. Thank you so much. Sometimes people want to say a little something. Did you guys? I didn't know. Y'all might want to say a little something. Anyone? You? No? No. Okay. Yeah, I feel like you're.
Yeah, I'll say something. Hi, my name's Josh. I just want to say that safety is the most important thing out there on the road, and it can be challenging sometimes to be a bus driver, but we have to not make it personal when we're bus drivers, and it's been a great experience overall. So we're keeping your kids safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Josh. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Madam Chair, board members, Mr. Roberts, thank you as always for the opportunity to recognize some of our outstanding food and nutrition services team members. Last week we had the opportunity to celebrate National School Breakfast Week in Chesterfield with the theme of a Surf's Up with School Breakfast, along with a couple new interesting breakfast items and some festive decorations and an entire wardrobe full of Hawaiian shirts that we saw on the field. We also saw a lot of excited, smiling faces enjoying a nutritious start to their day. I had the pleasure of being at Mosley Elementary School on Friday morning with Dr. Doherty for breakfast service, where we honored their principal, Karen DeBeal, as our 2023-24 breakfast champion for her support of school breakfast in her school. While there, a student asked me if I was the nutrition special agent, to which I replied, I am now. While I will happily refer to myself by this title moving forward, I am simply the fortunate individual that gets the opportunity to work with 400 nutrition superheroes every day. I believe we have at least 4 of those with us this evening, so I'm happy to recognize them. Not with us this evening is Mr. Shar Thomas. Ms. Thomas is a food service associate at Providence Middle School who's been with the county for 7 years. She says, outside of seeing the smiles on the students' faces from providing them healthy meals, I absolutely love the culture of my workplace. It's fun coming to work with happy people who make work enjoyable. Next, we have Gina Aldez. Ms. Aldez is a food service associate at Swift Creek Middle School, and she's been with the county for 3 years. She says, the best part of my job is seeing the students get excited about our fresh fruits and vegetable selections each day. Feeding kids is truly the best job in the world. Next, we have Finn Huang. Ms. Huang is a food service associate at Cosby High School. She's been with Chesterfield County for 11 years. And she says, I've been working with food and nutrition services for 11 years. I truly love my job. I'm happy to be part of a team to give students healthy, delicious food that helps them learn and focus in school. Next, we have Misty Finns. Ms. Finns is our assistant manager at CTC Courthouse, and she's been with the county for 5 years. She says, I love my job for the flexibility it gives me. I enjoy coming to work to see my work family and the students. I don't know if she's here with us this evening. And then lastly, we have Catherine Clement. Ms. Clement is our assistant manager at Ettrick Elementary School. She's been with the county for 8 years. She says, I love my job because I get to be a part of a great team that is making a difference in the lives of children. So thank you all.
So in keeping with my theme of poetry for you guys, in the arts, spoken word is an art too. Okay. In the bustling school cafeteria, they stand, food service workers with ladle in hand, preparing meals for students with care, their dedication and hard work beyond compare, serving smiles along with every dish, aiming to fulfill every student's wish. Their efforts are often overlooked, but their importance cannot be mistook. So here's to the school food service crew. For all that they do, we thank you. Thank you so much.
Next, we have public comment. For this meeting, citizens were given the option of submitting their comments online or in person. Comments submitted via the online form were sent to the board prior to the start of tonight's meeting and will be included in full as an addendum to the meeting minutes. Madam Clerk, would you please announce this evening's in-person speakers?
Madam Chair, we have 8 speakers this evening. They are Todd Starkweather, Ann Tatus, Michelle Roper, Arena Bell, Charles Bell, Robert Ebereth, Christine Melendez, and Mike Carabinos. Each speaker will have 4 minutes to address the board. There's a timer set up on top of the podium that will turn green when you begin speaking, yellow when you have 30 seconds remaining, and red when your time has expired. As a reminder, no personal belongings other than a cell phone and speaker notes are allowed at the podium. Please have your materials organized in a manner that as you arrive at the podium, you are prepared to start speaking. Please note that comments equivalent to campaigning for any public office are in violation of School Board Policy 1110 are prohibited. May we have Todd Starkweather?
Hello, good evening. My name is Todd Starkweather. I'm a teacher at Midlothian High School and the proud vice president of Chesterfield Education Association. I'm here tonight to address concerns about threats of violence directed towards CCPS educators. CCPS employees have, over the last 1.5 years, expressed to me fears, concerns, and anger about threats of violence that they have received from students. Sometimes these threats are couched in vague, if still menacing fashion, such as, "We know what kind of car you drive," or they are much more direct. Last winter, the organizing committee of CEA asked members about safety issues. Out of the 102 respondents, 54 said that they had seen or heard student threats, explicit or implicit, made against faculty or staff. Teachers have reported that they feel helpless, that they are in no position of authority or can't go anywhere for help when threats of violence by students are made to them. When teachers feel scared and or are demoralized, a few things might happen. They might look for other work. They might begin, just leaving the classroom, or such feelings might make them less effective educators if they feel unsafe or unsupported. If any or all of these things happen, the classroom environment and student learning suffers. Over the past few board meetings, I've heard board members express pride in the quality of CCPS education, and rightly so. We saw examples and evidence of great education earlier this evening. As a CCPS teacher at Midlow High, I am extremely proud of my IB and dual enrollment literature courses. But to continue to be proud of the education that we offer, we need staff, all staff, to feel safe and supported. First, for their safety and peace of mind. And secondly, supporting them makes the classroom and the school a better place to learn. Threats of violence are illegal and have no place on school property or anywhere else. Such threats, uttered by students, parents, employees, should be dealt with immediately so that all can feel safe, so that all students can learn, and so that CCPS can continue to deliver the excellent education of which we are all rightly proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Starkweather. Ann Tatus?
Welcome, new school board members. My name is Ann Tatus. It's interesting to hear a teacher bring up the safety of teachers when, again, today there was another teacher arrested at Spring Run Elementary School for assaulting a student. How many is that? Have you counted? Let's see. 2024 Manchester High School teacher assaulted a student. 1223 Thomas Dale, a teacher assaulted a student. This doesn't even get into the sexual assaults if we go through the Virginia Department of Education's own statistics. You've got this only goes back to 2007, but you've got conduct with direct and detrimental effect on students, improper communication of sexual nature with minor students, that's Chesterfield County, felony indecent liberties based on alleged, well, they lost their license, it's not alleged, sexual conduct with a student. Let's see, that's 2006 and 2020. You got criminal convictions, 2 counts crimes against nature and 2 counts of indecent liberties with a child. That's 2017, still on Chesterfield County. Misdemeanor contributing to the delinquency of minor based on an alleged sexual conduct with a student. How is that a misdemeanor? Has anybody ever thought about that? You can't have sex with children. It's called rape, especially when you stand in loco parentis. Even if you're 18, you cannot consent to sex with a teacher. Criminal conviction, felony indecent liberties, inappropriate conduct with a student. That would be 2019. Felony possession of child pornography, 2018. Felony possession of child pornography, 2006. 7 counts misdemeanor contributing to delinquency of minor based on alleged sexual relationship with a minor student age 13, 2014. Inappropriate relationship with a student, conduct with direct and detrimental effect on the health of a minor, 2022. 2 counts misdemeanor sexual battery and object sexual penetration based on a sex abuse of a 16-year-old, 2007. 2 counts misdemeanor sexual battery and object penetration of a minor, 2002. Inappropriate relationship with a student via sexting, 2022. 7 counts misdemeanor contributing to delinquency of a minor based on sex with another child, 13 years old, 2014. This is literally why, you want to whine? Talk about unhealthy children. Children being abused. This doesn't even include the special education, the Chester Learning Academy fiasco last year, the special education, the most vulnerable children being abused by teachers, educators. So don't come up here and whine to me about how you perceived what you heard was screenshot. They're literally raping and beating our children. It is on the Virginia data sets. Not only that, but you can go back Ed Week, 2004, sexual abuse in educators is scrutinized. 2007, sexual misconduct plagues U.S. schools, 2007. Ed Week, sexual abuse, a shadow over U.S. schools, October 24th, 2007. A government accountability report, K-12 education, select cases of public and private schools that hired or retained individuals with histories of sexual misconduct. There's one also from 2014 from the Government Accountability Office. 2016, broken discipline tracking system lets teachers flee troubled paths. That's USA Today. A Department of Justice report from 2017. Lessons learned from Title IX policy implementation. Dr. Carol Shakeshaft, who has led this, has now left Hofstra, and she is at VCU. And that leads me to Title IX, and the previous school board completely eliminated the student complaint form for Title IX. Why would you do that with our children being abused by teachers? Why would you do that? The 2 of you that are still here.
Thank you, Ms. Tatus. May we have Michelle Roper?
Good evening. I come before you today as a mother of 4 and the head of advocacy at Spring Run Elementary. And I also come to you as a mother of a child who was a kindergartner during the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary. Those are now our 11th graders. A second-generation American, a former CCPS student, and a first-generation college graduate. My experiences and my background drive me to advocate for a better tomorrow for our community, as we all have those stories. In light of the recent unfortunate events at Spring Run Elementary, I would like to thank Mr. Pronto for swiftly responding to the needs of parents and staff by facilitating a town hall and taking the time out of his day to take phone calls and write emails and address our concerns. I'm hoping for and expecting answers still. I lost my place, I'm sorry. At this time, we are still waiting for answers. The parents and staff of things that were brought up at the town hall are concerns that we have from that day. I'm not going to go into all of it, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And the two things that I wanted to say tonight specifically are, one, I'm here not as a representative necessarily of the PTA. I'm speaking for myself. Just to let you know, we're watching and we're waiting, and it's quiet, and we are hoping for some answers soon. Because in the meantime, staff is still showing up to work. We're still sending our kids to school, as we did the day that we sent them to school, only to find out that it probably wasn't a good idea. And we were told at the town hall that within 2 weeks there would be some type of a plan published of moving forward, and we're still waiting for that. Again, answers. And we asked, why was a crisis team not called to our school? Was a crisis team ever called to our school? If not, why now? Is that going to help? How do we move forward from that? And just to reiterate, we're asking for basic needs. This is for safety, support, communication, sound protocols, and that's not much to ask. And I'm hoping and looking forward to the strong future that is ahead of us. And I look forward to coming alongside you guys as I bring my children through CCPS. That's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Roper. May we have Arena Bell? Charles Bell? Robert Ebereth? Christine Melendez?
Good evening, board members and school staff. My name is Christine Melendez, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the Chesterfield Education Association president. I'm here tonight to speak about hostile and abusive work environments. As tonight's action item will highlight, many of our students, and most of society, if we're honest, have been negatively impacted by their use of social media. This and other factors in the life of a school-aged person ages 4 to 18 and beyond have led to students feeling emboldened to say and do things on school property and in other places that I know I would never imagine saying or doing to my teachers growing up. One specific example that I will use is a member who told us a 12-year-old child said someone needed to uppercut her and curb stomp her with a steel boot. In the process of understanding how discipline was handled in this situation and what protections were in place if this were to happen again, this member saw that the only existing school board policy we could easily find addressing threats towards school employees was policy 2190, reporting acts of violence and substance abuse. In Section A, it lists what incidents are to be reported to the superintendent and principal. In a list of 9 items, letter D says any written threats against school personnel while on a school bus or school property or school-sponsored activity. An average person would understand that to mean that threats made verbally don't even need to be reported to an administrator or superintendent. We ask that the school board revisit policies surrounding threats made towards staff so that it is clear that we will be protected when any threat is made towards us, regardless of the manner in which it was made. Each of you will receive language from the Virginia Code outlining the most extreme route school personnel may legally take when threats of death or bodily injury to persons on school property have been made. This is one of the many examples of threats made towards school personnel that have led to mental health issues among staff, as well as the desire to leave a building they otherwise love or a profession they were called to. I also wanted to give an example of bullying of staff I was made aware of recently. Long story short, a teacher new to the district has been the target of more than one staff member in her grade level. These staff members have chosen to withhold instructional resources, put this new teacher down, and chosen to exhibit behavior that is unbecoming of a Chesterfield County public school employee. When trying to find ways to help this employee get help in this situation, we started with policy 5015, prohibition of abusive work environments, that states the school board prohibits abusive work environments in the school division. Any school board employee who contributes to an abusive work environment will be appropriately disciplined. Retaliation or reprisal against school board employees who make allegations of abusive work environments or assist in the investigation of allegations of abusive work environments is prohibited. Abusive conduct includes verbal or physical conduct that a reasonable person would find threatening, intimidating, or humiliating. We could not easily find the process for reporting an abusive or hostile work environment, as this person has tried to get their administrator to resolve the situation, and for reasons unknown, the behavior has continued. We ask that the school board and school division make processes for reporting abusive work environments more accessible to employees, or communicate how an employee could find that information in the coming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Melendez. Mike Carabinos?
Good evening. First, I wanted to make a shout out to Mrs. French from Clover Hill Elementary. She was also my kid's art teacher, so it was great to see her and her student tonight. I'm hearing 3 dots that need to be connected here. I'm hearing about the unfortunate event that happened on January 25th and that we all read about in the news this week, where a teacher apparently allegedly assaulted a student. I'm hearing about threats from students against faculty. And I'm reading in the Washington Post that over the past 3 years of this manufactured moral panic that we've seen against the queer community, hate crimes against that community have risen on campus 166% in all states, 351% in states that have enacted anti-LGBT laws. What we see, if we connect all these dots, along with some of the very contentious school board meetings we've had in the past, is that as a community, we are hardening. It's getting rougher. We are seeing a culture where the idea of decency and kindness to each other is being lost. And I don't have a suggestion or a solution to propose. Because we don't see, Mrs. Tate has brought up a number of data points in the history of this county's education department, but I can pull into a number of different fields and find similar items like that. It seems like in the past 8 years, we've just seen hearts grow colder. And I had come here talking about, I was going to talk about parking for campuses, textbooks rather than Chromebooks, lockers again, reduction in testing. But I guess one of the benefits of going last is I listened and connected dots. And I think we all need to do a better job of letting each other be who we are and stop turning to the anger, accusation, and hysterics that we have seen in the past 3 years. So that's really all I have. It's been an interesting month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carabino. Madam Chair, that concludes this evening's public comment.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we have this evening's superintendent's report with Dr. Tylis.
Madam Chair, you may notice that Dr. Daugherty is not sitting up there next to you this evening. He is out sick, and he does send his regards. We have 2 presentations this evening, both by Sean Smith. The first one will be on teachers' innovative approach to encouraging students to read and share books, and he will follow up with a legislative update right after that.
Board members, tonight for our meaningful moment, we want to show you a quick video for an innovative approach that's taking place at Gates Elementary. It really connects with our open court reading program and how they're utilizing ceiling tiles to encouraging students to learn.
It's your lucky day. Save $5,000 off Barefoot Spa's premium 6-person hot tub, built right here in North.
99% of the time when a student tells me they don't like to read, and they start the year off that way, I said, it's not that you don't like to read. Yes, it is. I don't like to read. I said, no, you haven't found what you like to read. This is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. So I wanted a way for my students to recommend books to each other that was more permanent. Because I can recommend a book till I'm blue in the face, but I found that when a peer recommends a book, they're more excited about it. My first thoughts were on the walls and had like the spines of books and build it as the year went on so that the kids could have recommendations. So, you know, if I move rooms, then you have to paint over it. Whereas with the ceiling tiles, they technically can be taken down and put in a new room. So 3 years ago, I approached the principal and gave her my idea, and she's like, yes, go for it. And the idea was to create a cover. They had to read the book, they had to talk about the book. It could be the exact cover, or something like with Frindle is a book about a pen and them coming up with the name Frindle for it to see if they could get it to catch on. And the group that did that wanted to put something that would make other kids go, why is there a bird? Because if you look at the original cover, the kid is holding a pen, and you can kind of maybe put it together, but there's no bird on there. So they wanted something different. And their tagline all year was, guess you gotta read the book. So it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It got the kids talking. So this year, because with OCR, our stories in our book are based on interest versus their level. So that's what I put out to my students this year. I said, okay, you have to read a book this year, but you also have to find someone that has the same interest in you. And I've noticed with my groups, I've got kids talking to each other who didn't necessarily talk to each other before. So they're making those peer connections. My past 5th graders, they come in to look at what the book titles are. So they're getting new ideas, and they asked me this morning, well, Ms. River, what is your goal? I said, well, to have the entire ceiling covered. So I started counting the tiles, and after I got to 60 and I wasn't halfway across, I realized that's at least 3 years. He goes, so what do you think? In 6 years, Ms. Norgard, you'll be done? I said, that's a pretty good goal. 6 years, I said, come back in 6 years, we'll still be doing this maybe. So my end goal is to have it completely filled with all genres and all levels, so that when you walk in, you can look up and I can't read, or I don't know what I want to read, or I don't like to read. That's my favorite one, I don't like to read. And then I point out a book, and I said, why don't you like to read? I said, because you do read. I said, tell me what you read. And then they start telling, usually sports magazines or graphic novels. I said, but that's reading. They don't understand that reading is reading anything, and a graphic novel is just as good as a chapter book if you're getting something out of it. So I then lead them towards a book. And then I find at the end of the year, I ask that question again, do you not like to read? And I have yet to have a student tell me, no, I still don't like to read.
Thanks so much, Mr. Smith. Board members, is there any discussion? Ms. Chatters?
So I know where I'm going to go tomorrow.
Right.
I got to stop by Gates and get some reading suggestions. That is so cool. In the Army, when I was teaching, we would make the soldiers leave a tile behind too with a memory of what their best experience was. And that's a great idea to turn it into a book. It's like a library on the ceiling. It's awesome.
What's fascinating is actually last week we're at Bensley Elementary for community meeting talking about the brand new building that's going to be done, the complex transportation systems we have to put in place to move kids back and forth. The number one question from families was, how do I get my ceiling tile to take home? So, yeah, so.
Any other discussion? Thanks so much, Mr. Smith. That was absolutely wonderful to see. You have a legislative program update for
Yep.
us.
Shifting gears a little bit here, legislative update. I'll note for the community the slide deck that's in the board docs. It was a kind of a placeholder at the time there. It's reflective of our larger conversation about the legislative program. Tonight, I want to kind of give you a brief update on where we are with the legislative process, talk about steps ahead, and certainly reflect upon a couple things that we know. First of all, the legislative session ended this past Saturday. It was the longer session. A lot of bills were introduced, a lot of things were accomplished. One of the things we saw this year, and it's kind of reflective of a change, obviously, in the leadership down in Richmond happens every so often when the political powers shift. But we saw a lot of the updates I provided to you, really the midpoint of the session was things that had passed House and Senate. And what they've done parliamentary-wise is they essentially went in after the crossover period, and when the same bill came to their chamber, they immediately, what they did was they put on a substitute legislation, put on their version of legislation, and then it went to a conference committee. What happened was it really compacted, obviously, the work of their session, and obviously the information that we have available, because a lot of these things weren't reconciled up until basically last Friday night. So we're still kind of going through some of the pieces that are put into place. I'll give you some highlights with that. The next marker will be the veto session, which will occur on April the 17th. The governor, by his constitutional authority, has until April the 8th to provide updates as far as whether he signs bills, vetoes bills, or amends the bills. And that applies obviously to the budget as well, and I'll talk about that. So the budget conference report, one of the updates I provided to you was some of the details with the budget itself. We saw a lot of very good positive things happening for education. As you've heard us say redundantly, quite frankly, that we're waiting for the Department of Education to give us the analysis about the direct impact on our school division. We are very encouraged, certainly by the work that Jones Lee did with regard to education. They put into place some of the things that we talked about in anticipation. Obviously was the focus there on a 3% raise for employees, money going towards at-risk programs, ELL programs, as well as mental health. And so a lot of pieces of legislation as well. We'll talk about that. For our district, we still did maintain the $500,000 for our Recovery High School, which is very positive. The General Assembly is taking in a positive way the work that's happening in Chesterfield through our Recovery School, looking to expand that work in Northern Virginia through Loudoun County schools, as well as Virginia Beach schools. They put in some planning funds for those school districts, hopefully to pursue the same concept that we've done here with Region 1 schools. We're happy, obviously, with the work that Justin Savoy is doing there to showcase the work. We've had some chances already to, Justin and I met a little bit with Virginia Beach schools back in December. Loudoun schools have been able to kind of visit our recovery school. So we're hoping to kind of collaborate along the way with that. But we're encouraged, and the governor did put that funding in there. The General Assembly did maintain that. One of the difficulties as we look forward to the governor's action on the budget bill is, and he's made some very direct comments in the media about his take on what the General Assembly did. We don't quite know. The governor has options available to him when it comes to the budget, and we'll be watching that closely. Essentially, what the General Assembly did is they essentially upended his budget proposal. The governor put in place a lot of things that were really geared towards the tax base. The General Assembly essentially took those out, put the money directly towards things like education. So the question really is kind of what approach the governor does take with the General Assembly's proposals, what impact it has on the increased funding we're seeing for education. So we'll continue to watch, listen up until obviously April the 8th and see kind of what happens with that piece. With regard to legislation itself, one of the approaches that we took, obviously through the direction of our superintendent, and the board obviously was clearly engaged and involved with that, is we took the aggressive approach beginning in December with our local delegation, talking about the JLARC funding analysis that was put in place. Certainly the governor has had some questions about that funding analysis, but I think the general consensus is some of the numbers there were intact with regard to the funding needs. We saw in our school division the impact, if it was fully implemented, $200, $300 million. So there was legislation passed with regard to that. The other piece is obviously once the General Assembly got through the crossover point, we did advocate directly to our delegation as well as to legislators about the approach, certainly at the time that the Senate Finance Committee had taken the legislation, which ultimately kind of ended up being kind of what we saw the overall compromise to be, is very closely aligned to that. But we also worked closely, Dr. Doherty, through VAST, Association of Superintendents, as well as his Regional 1 superintendents. I also had some conversations regarding the Big 8 school divisions, with note to that, obviously, look at how we can kind of work closely with our delegations to advocate in a similar fashion. As we move forward, I will continue to send you updates directly on legislation. The governor is going through daily legislation, so we'll see some updates from him. I would note one of the updates I did share with you, it came out Friday evening, was there was some legislation he acted upon. And actually, I think it's important to look at because it kind of, I think, does showcase a little bit of his approach to some of the legislation. There was a lot of legislation with regards to notification purposes, essentially all very well-meaning. One of the conversations we had last time I presented to you was regarding legislation about the notification of parental responsibility for safe storage of firearms in the household. The governor took that legislation, put what's called a reenactment clause on it, which essentially means that the legislation holds and doesn't take effect unless it's reenacted the next General Assembly session. He put that amendment on there, as well as asked the Department of Education to look closely at the overall approach to all the notifications that are required, to give school divisions some guidance on all the pieces that are required of us legally and also responsibly to kind of implement those. The General Assembly has at the veto session to act upon that. We'll look to kind of see if he takes that same approach to some other notification pieces with regards to some mental health pieces. The one veto he did put down on Friday night is with regard to the conversation about the model policies with regard to sexually explicit materials that are in schools. He did veto a Senate bill by Senator Hashmi, Senate Bill 235. The General Assembly acted upon that veto, but there was clarification both in the General Assembly and the governor's veto message talking about how this law was not meant to imply any sort of censorship of books. So I think school divisions did take heart in hearing that verbiage certainly come out, but those are two things he did Friday night, which will kind of, I think, will showcase some of the work that he'll do kind of going forward. The last piece, I do want to kind of just highlight something new and kind of fun, certainly the highlights of this evening's work with music and art in our schools. We did start this school year a program with our delegation trying to showcase student artwork in our schools. It's been very well received by the legislative delegation through the work that Jimmy Hurd's doing, so we're excited to kind of bring that artwork downtown the General Assembly building to local offices. So a very positive response with that. We talked earlier about Vivian and the resolution, obviously, that took place and the recognition on the House and the Senate side, which is phenomenal for her work that she's doing. We've also seen in a very positive way, our delegation's been reaching out to look at the upcoming delegation and sessions to see how we can further showcase, obviously, our employees. So we're excited about that emphasis as well. So with that being said, obviously with the budget in play, we have obviously the The county government, the county administrator will announce his budget tomorrow. Families will receive information tomorrow, as well as employees received this yesterday about the community meetings that are taking place. We'll follow that process, certainly follow the process with the governor with regard to his action on the budget, and provide to you updates as well as senior leadership with regard to legislation proper. So hopefully that kind of gives you kind of a brief overview of where we are, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks so much, Mr. Smith. Board members, are there any questions, discussion? Okay, wow. Thanks, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Next, we have action items with Mr. Roberts.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Tyler. Back in January 2023, public school divisions from around the country began a multi-school district litigation effort against the social media companies that own Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube, seeking both monetary damages and, equally important, changes to the way these social media companies operate. The multi-district litigation claims that social media companies have designed highly addictive products that are harmful to the mental health and that they have marketed them to our youth. The result is that school districts are devoting substantial resources to addressing our students' deteriorating mental health. One of the demands in the lawsuit is that the social media companies change their practices, such as the design of their algorithms. Several months ago, this board was approached by representatives from the Curtin McConkie, one of the law firms leading this national effort, to participate in the multi-district litigation. An attorney from the firm met a few weeks ago with the board chair and the senior division staff for an in-person briefing of the litigation. Peer-reviewed scientific literature confirms that the compulsive and excessive use of social media platforms have significantly contributed to a crisis in mental and physical health of America's school-aged youth, as evidenced by anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and harm caused by online bullying, impairment of self-control and regulation, and sleep deprivation. Over 400 school divisions nationwide have joined this multi-district litigation since early 2023. In Virginia, over 20 school divisions have joined, including Fairfax County Public Schools, Prince William County Public Schools, Loudoun County Public Schools, Virginia Beach City Public Schools, Roanoke, and Chesapeake City Public Schools. Many more Virginia school boards are considering joining this effort now and in the upcoming weeks. The outcome of this effort will be either a verdict for school districts, a settlement, or decision in favor of the social media companies. In the event of a verdict for the school divisions, individual school division recovery amounts will be based largely on the size of the school division. In the event of a settlement, the settlement offer will come back to the school board for review and approval. The school division is not responsible for any of the expenses related to the litigation because of a contingency fee agreement made with the law firm acting on behalf of this board. And it will likely take 2 to 3 more years before the matter is fully resolved and any funds, if any, are distributed. Madam Chair, staff recommends that the school board retain Curtin McConkie to assert any claims the board may have against the named social media defendants for damages arising out of the design and operation of social media platforms, and authorize the chair of the school board to execute an attorney-client engagement agreement necessary to effectuate such retention on behalf of the entire board. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Board members, may I have a motion to approve Memo 2824 as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Board members, is there any discussion? Ms. Chatters? I'm sorry.
So that we can put that in non-legal speak for those that are watching, we understand that what children have on their phones or on their computers is a parent's responsibility to monitor and maintain. What we're trying to do here is the philosophy that it takes a village to raise a child, and part of that village is social media. We're not going to be able to get rid of it, but we should be able to ask them to be a little bit more accountable in the role that they're playing and how it's affecting our kids. So if you do let your child, do Facebook or Instagram, they should be able to go there safely without seeing fight channels that's going on in their schools, for example, or to see a child being bullied that was recorded at the bus loop, for example. We should be able to let them peruse social media safely, and that's the intent behind, why I would support this, is because accountability for not just the child and the parent, but accountability for those who are responsible for entertainment and making sure they do it responsibly.
Thank you. Mr. Pronto, did you want?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. It's extremely concerning in today's world to where information is in the palm of your hand, and what information is being given. How do you protect the minds that are still developing? This is not the end-all answer, but I firmly believe is a step in the right direction to voice our concern and to say that we recognize that social media is a blessing and a curse. Information that's needed is quickly gathered. The wrong information given to the wrong person, and what I'm referring to is a child who is viewing, a fight that happened at school, or praising that and liking that and passing that around, for example, is not the message that we want, in my opinion, as a society to give. So I do greatly appreciate the opportunity to review this action item today, to at least send the message that I hope is that CCPS does not, accept this as our society today, that we're allowing this to continue. So again, understanding that this is 2 to 3 years down the road potentially for a resolution. I don't think or believe that our motive is in this to ascertain any type of financial benefit. If that may come, that may come. But the heart of the matter is sending the message to the community at large that we do not support nor advocate for this kind of, for lack of a better word, behavior. And how do we help that to continue moving forward? So I appreciate the time.
Any other board members have any questions or comments? Mr. Roberts, I would just add that, my understanding is that that social media has developed an algorithm that essentially exploits a person's activities online and then creates an addictive, as it was presented to us, so this creates an addictive behavior. And we are seeing challenges in supporting just the volume of mental health concerns that our students are facing. And I fully support this endeavor, and I appreciate your support as we move through the legal minutia of this. Board members, there's been a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters.
Aye.
Stephen Pronto.
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye.
Dot Hathburn.
Aye. Memo 3824 is approved. Next, we have items for board review. Madam Clerk, would you please read the items for this evening?
Madam Chair, tonight's agenda includes the following items for board's review. Number 1, Magisterial District Improvement Funds, FY 2024. Number 2, FY 2024 January Expenditures versus Appropriations. Number 3, Budget Change Requests Summary across categories, January 2024. Number 4, Board Committee Reports. And number 5, Pre-K Update, January 2024.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we have this evening's superintendent's remarks with Dr. Tylis.
And again, I'll point out, you notice Dr. Daugherty is not here, and I would not presume as to what he would say at this point, but there are 2 items that we do want to highlight as far as what's coming up as far as the calendar. First, Sean did mention that Dr. Casey will be proposing the county's budget tomorrow to the Board of Supervisors. At that meeting, Mr. Meister will provide a summary of your school board budget and the CIP to the Board of Supervisors at approximately 2 p.m. So just to be aware of that does become part of their agenda. Secondly, obviously, you've all referenced and loved the student music and art statements that were made this evening. I do want to remind you that one of the pitches they were making during that sometimes gets lost in the advertising that they had up there, but the actual event is March 23rd and 24th at Cosby High School. That is where the secondary fine arts showcase will be. That is where you can hear the musical selections that Dr. Yo had highlighted at that. And the final thing I wanted to add is simply on behalf of Dr. Doherty. He was named the Region 1 Superintendent for the state of Virginia. At this point, you'd probably be annoyed that I'm mentioning it at this stage, but I figure since he's not here, it was safe to throw that out there to you. But again, to congratulate him for that recognition and that honor on behalf of himself and the work of the school division. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tylis. I can only hope that people talk about me behind my back as nicely as you talk about the superintendent. Sorry, so next we have school board announcements, communications, and comments. Do you have any announcements or comments, board members? Mr. Pronto?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a note for calendar purposes, the Matoka District Budget Town Hall will be held on the 19th at 6:30 at CTC at Hall. And then also on the 20th, the next day in the evening at 6 p.m. at Cosby High School, will be the Western Area High School Community meeting to discuss the new high school and plans. In addition, having representation there from our partners from the Board of Supervisors as well. So I encourage those that are interested to come out to the Budget Town Hall and the next night for the Western Area High School Community meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chatters?
I also wanted to announce that on the 18th of March at the Beulah Recreation Center at 6:30 is the Dale District Board of Supervisors Budget Town Hall. 6:30 to 8 p.m. is what it's slotted for. And on el 25 de marzo, para todo que habla español, va a ser otra Town Hall para el budget at Beulah Recreation Center y va a comenzar a las 6:30. So that's the Spanish-speaking town hall that's happening on the 25th of March, also at 6:30 at the Beulah Recreation Center.
Ms. Coker?
And to follow suit, the Bermuda District Budget Town Hall for the Board of Supervisors will be Thursday, March 21st at Thomasdale High School, again, 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Ms. Hutchins?
Not to be left out in the cold here, Midlothian 2 will have a budget town hall. It will be held on Thursday, March the 14th, 6:30 p.m. at the Midlothian, the fresh, new, and gorgeous Midlothian Public Library. Also, I wanted to congratulate or give a shout out for basketball. Is that okay? Right now, I went to the Siegel Center. I watched the James River girls just basketball their hearts out. It was unbelievable. I was so proud. It's actually how it said. And they were amazing. And there was some really fancy basketball. Never mind. They're so good. They're so good. I had so much fun. I scared people around me with my cheering, and way to go. I'm proud. Congratulations. And I'm done.
Well, incidentally, Clover Hill is also having a district budget town hall Wednesday, March 20th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the North Courthouse Road Library. Also, a big shout out to the Monacan Chiefs swim and dive team state champs. Very proud of them. I was glad that Dr. Doherty and I had the opportunity to celebrate them just a few weeks ago.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
I cannot agree to close this meeting without addressing the fact that our Manchester High School girls varsity basketball team took home the state championship by defending a very talented Thomasdale High School team. And so I greatly appreciate that competition, but my hat's off to the Manchester girls varsity basketball team. Congratulations.
And I, too, would just like to congratulate the Manchester girls basketball team for their win, and just a shout out to, of course, my Thomasdale Lady Knights. You showed up, you played hard, and be very proud of the fact that you made it to states, and you've had a great performance.
So I would like to also give a shout out to LC Bird. They also played this past weekend. Tough night, but I think the gentlemen played their hearts out, and I think we're going to be returning back there. So Woodside should look out. All right.
Okay. I feel like we need a podcast. The school board will hold a work session on Tuesday, April 9, 2024 at 4 p.m. here in the public meeting room. It will be followed by a business meeting at 6:30 p.m. And if there is no further business, then we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dominique Chatters,
Aye.
Stephen Pronto,
Aye.
Lisa Hudgens,
Aye.
Ann Coker,
Aye.
Dot Heffron.
Aye. The motion carries. The March 12, 2024 school board business meeting is adjourned.